Rōjūrō Ōtoribashi. Rōjūrō Ōtoribashi, Ōtoribashi Rōjūrō, more commonly referred to as Rōzu, is the captain of the 3rd Division in the Gōdai 13 and a Vizard. His lieutenant is Izuru Kira. He was also a captain over 100 years ago prior to his exile, and was reinstated to his old post some time after the battle against Sosuke Aizen. Approximately 112 years ago, Rose was promoted to captain of the 3rd Division. 2 years later, Rose arrives at the 1st Division barracks to attend the meeting to introduce the new captain of the 12th Division. Rose was later seen waiting with the other captains as the newly appointed 12th Division captain, Kasuke Urahara, arrives late to the meeting. 9 years later, Rose was dispatched with Love Aikawa, Shinji Hirako, Hachijin Ashoda, and Lisa Yadamaru to investigate the disappearance of Rukongai residents and Kensei Mugiruma and the members of his division. Rose followed right behind Love as they showed up at the site of the disappearances after Shinji arrived. He then noticed a hollowified Kensei and was greatly surprised at his current state. He immediately asked if the creature before them was Kensei. Shinji stated that he didn't know if it was Kensei, but that if they didn't draw their swords, they were as good as dead. Rose watched as Love went to attack the hollowified Kensei and saw Love outmatched and attacked. Rose took out his Zanpakuto and resolved to attack Kensei alongside Lisa. After attacking Kensei several times, the hollowified captain forced him backwards. Before Rose could attack again, he was brutally ambushed by a hollowified Mashiro Kuna, causing him to crash down into the ground below. Kensei was attacking Lisa and about to land a devastating blow, but was stopped by a Kido blast in the back from Rose, who has just climbed out of the large crater made by him crashing into the ground from Mashiro's previous attack. Rose told him to stop, as he wasn't the sort of weakling who would attack a woman. Kensei proceeded toward him, but Rose was saved by the intervention of Hachi, who used Kin Bakudo number 99. Rose and the others began discussing what to do next, and Hiyori attacked Shinji and revealed herself to be hollowified as well. Before anyone could act, a darkness fell around the rescue squad and they were attacked by an unseen assailant. The assailant was Kaname Tozen, Mugarama's 5th seat, who was acting under the orders of Sosuke Aizen, the person behind the disappearances and hollowification experiments. Just as Aizen gave the order to kill the hollowified Shinigami, Captain Kasuke Urahara and Tessai Tsukabashi, captain of the Kido Corps, showed up and saved them from destruction. Aizen, Jin Ikamaru, and Tozen made their escape, and Tessai used Forbidden Kido to preserve and transport them to the 12th Division barracks. In his lab, Urahara tried to reverse the process using his created item, the Hogyoku. Unfortunately, it ended up as a failed process, not having the desired effect Urahara expected. The next day, Urahara and Tessai were arrested under the orders of the Central 46. The hollowified Shinigami were sentenced to execution as hollows. Before any of their sentences could be executed, however, both were rescued by Yoruchi Shihoin, who brought them to a secret underground area. In the secluded area, she had also brought Hachi and the other hollowified Shinigami, along with the prototype for the new Jigai that Urahara was working on. With that epiphany, Urahara resolved to make 10 Ryatsu-blocking Jigai to aid him, Tessai, and the 8 victims escape to the real world, where they would find a way to undo the hollowification process. Appearance: Rose has purple eyes, long, wavy, blonde hair and a perpetually bored expression. Rose wears a black suit with a thigh-length, black jacket. He also wears a white frilled shirt with frilled cuffs or large cuffs, and high collar, which he commonly keeps untucked. During his initial time as captain, he kept his hair somewhat straighter with a small black ribbon tied near the end. He wore the standard Shinigami robes and a sleeveless captain's Hiyori, but with a frilled collared shirt under it. 17 months after Aizen's defeat, Rose returns to his original Shinigami attire with shorter, slicked back hair with the addition of a single lock falling into his face. Personality: a seemingly foppish man with a disinterested air, Rose is one of the more laid-back members of the Vizard. He is frequently seen tuning his guitar and chatting with Love rather than paying attention to what is going on around him. He's interested in music and often discusses whatever singles that have recently come out, such as the then latest Prince of Darkness album. He also enjoys reading manga, a pastime shared with Love and Lisa, although he becomes irritated if anyone spoils it for him. Despite the disinterested behavior he exhibits, he cares for his fellow Vizard. He smiles happily when he realizes that Hachi is happy to have met Orihime, due to the notable similarities regarding their healing abilities. He also states that the family is growing, due to Ichigo and Orihime coming to stay with them, even claiming that the aforementioned human's partner/counterpart, Hiyori and Hachi, were similarly happy. Rose seems to pay close attention to dramatic effect while in battle, as seen with his starting a speech on the human nature to band together against a common enemy and his attempt to dramatically rise from the rubble of a building he was hurled into, leading to an unimpressed Love smacking him in response at both occasions. He cared greatly for his lieutenant, Izuru Kira, stating he had provided inspiration for his music, stating if Izuru really was dead both him and his guitar would mourn. Powers and abilities. Expert swordsman. As a captain, Rose views himself as a capable swordsman, as he was certain that he could deal with Kensei in their battle without releasing. Whip mastery. Rose is quite masterful with a whip-like weapon. During his fight with Coyote Stark, he moved the length of Kinshara with little effort and controlled the direction of the attack with great ease in order to confuse his enemy. He can also wield Kinshara in both his right and left hands. Kido expert. Rose is proficient in Kido and can perform it without chance, though the level of the Kido which he used against the hollowified Kensei is unknown. Shuinpa expert. His skill in Shuinpa is high enough for him to keep up with the other Visored, barring Shinji. Great spiritual power. As a captain, he possesses a great amount of spiritual power. After becoming a Visored, Rose gained a dual-type spiritual energy, part Shinigami and part Hollow. Enhanced endurance. Rose has shown to possess some resilience in battle, able to continue fighting despite being injured from his battle with Stark. Rose was also able to instantly appear in front of Ichigo alongside the remaining captains and Visored to engage Aizen in battle. Zanpakuto. Kinshara, Golden Sal Tree, viz., Golden Shala, in its sealed form, the hilt guard of Rose's Zanpakuto is shaped like a diamond, with curved concave edges, and has an orange handle. Arpeggio. Rose levitates his Zanpakuto and scabbard in a cross shape in front of him. Rose moves his fingers as if playing a piano, which is accompanied by the sound of piano keys being played. A wire appears, and wraps around his intended target. His hand glows with a yellow light, and with simple hand movements he plays different notes, causing the target to become further constricted by the wire until it is eviscerated by the wire's crushing force. Shikai. Rose's release command is play, Canadero. Upon release, Kinshara's blade becomes a gold whip, tipped off with a flower from its namesake, while the hilt stays the same. The whip is extendable, much like Rinji Aburai's Shikai, and can also be used as a long-range weapon, as shown when Rose attacked Stark's wolves with it from a considerable distance. Rose commonly attacks with it in long sweeps, and can make it instantly change directions with a simple, fluid motion. He can retract it back to him with ease. When he uses the whip, it makes a sound similar to the light playing of piano keys. The whip's tip can be used to impale, and can effortlessly rip a living being apart with a simple flick. Shirkai's special ability. Kinshara Sokayaku Dai Juichiban, Izao Ibara, Golden Sal Tree Sonata No. 11, 16-day-old Moon Rose. When the flower at the end of Rose's whip attaches itself to the enemy, Rose taps on the whip with his fingers, causing it to glow and make the sound of a strummed guitar string. This sound travels up the length of the whip to the flower tip, and creates a vortex of reverberating sound that acts as a shockwave, destroying everything within a considerable area of the blast. Bankai, Kinshara Butadin, Golden Sal Tree Dancing Troupe, viz., Golden Shala Dance Troupe. Upon activation, Kinshara Butadin forms a large pair of floating hands, with one holding a large conducting baton, and several large beings with petal-shaped protrusions on their faces before Rose. Rose describes the figures, each of which are missing the center section of their torso from the groin to the chest, as the Dancers of Death, Shur no Butadin, viz., Dance Troupe of Death. Bankai special ability. Kinshara Butadin allows Rose to use music to create physical illusions. Rose states his music gives him power over his target's heart. As long as the target's heart is deceived, the illusions are realistic and powerful enough to physically damage the target and affect surroundings as if they were real. Rose claims that his illusions can make the opponent stop breathing. The various attacks which the illusions use lay in the various dances which the dancers perform. Rose further controls these dances by conducting them with a conducting baton as a music conductor would. Sea Drift, Shur Dorifudo, Japanese for Sea Drift. Rose has the figures surround his opponent and spin around until they create a whirlpool of surging water. Due to the effects of Kinshara Butadin, the target actually believes they are being drowned and constricted within the whirlpool. Prometheus, Puromatusu, Japanese for Envoy of the Volcano. Rose has the figures generate fire in their hands before engulfing his target in flames. Due to the effects of Kinshara Butadin, the target actually believes they are being burned, manifesting real pain to the opponent. Ein Heldenleben, ein Herodenleben, German for A Hero's Life, Japanese for Hero's Life. Due to Mask preventing Kinshara Butadin from working on him any longer by crushing his eardrums, this technique remains unseen. Hollowification. Hollow mask. Rose's hollow mask is unique in that unlike the flat masks of the other visored, it sprouts outward in a way that resembles a medieval plague doctor's mask. Power augmentation. While wearing the mask, Rose's hollow powers supplement his Shinigami powers, giving him a vast increase in both strength and durability. Enhanced durability. Rose's hollowification grants him increased durability, able to withstand the explosion from one of Stark's wolves with only slight damage to his arm. Weaknesses. Zanpakuto. Sound nullification. Bankai. The Bankai works in such a way that it requires the victims to hear the music for the illusion to take place, so if the victims were to negate their hearing, they become completely immune to Kinshara Shikai effects. Hollowification. Time limit. Rose can only maintain his hollow mask for 3 minutes at a time.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.